Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Goofy Foot Garage. Back working on Fiona today. Got some work done already. What I've done so far is I've leveled and located the back half of this extended cab. Sorry, it's kind of sunny here. So I've located that, leveled it, and evened it out. So it's actually about, I think when I cut the bed off, I cut 11 inches off the bed. So this is actually spaced 11 inches in there. So I got an 11-inch extended cab, welded in some supports for now, just like temporary tacked in. There's one here, and then same on the back side, the other side, passenger side, two over there. So those are just tacked in to get things located for now, and then I'm gonna probably put some more cross bracing in there once I get everything measured and in place. So last thing I did was I measured across from that corner to the door jamb, and then from this corner to that door jamb in 3 different spots, and got the same measurements. So this should be hard to see, but the extended cab should be even, so it doesn't stick out on that side. It's kind of hard to see, but there it is. Doesn't stick out. The body lines match up. So if we run down this body line here, you kind of see that it matches up on the back of the cab there. Probably a better angle like this. So she matches up really good there. That's the passenger side. Driver side's really good like that. Everything is level, everything is even, which is awesome. So what I just did now was, those are my spare doors, that one and that one. As you can see, there's a big section missing from it. So I cut that out, and it's over here. And what I was gonna do is I'm gonna clean up this edge on it now. And you see it's got the little lip on here from obviously where the door goes. I'm gonna try to grind this edge down so I can get this to come off, so then I can stick it on here. I'm gonna cleco it to this, line up these body lines. That's the big thing, is make sure this body line is matched up nice and straight, and cleco it in place and go from there and see if it how well it fits in this thing. So stay tuned and we'll be back shortly. All right, so today was a pretty productive day. Look at that. Almost looks like a full F1 extended cab, huh? Look at that. Still definitely got a lot of work to do on the roof, but I got that little filler panel in there. That is the outside skin of that door. You can see the back half of that. I pretty much cannibalized it. Cut the whole back half of the door off, cut out around the window frame. As you can see, I used a lot of that for the window frame here. Gonna have to do a little bit of work on there. That was just kind of like mocking it up to see how it works. But yeah, that looks pretty sweet, doesn't it? Nice little half cab or extended cab. Short bed, can't really see the bed. There's a whole bunch of junk in the back of it, but yeah, cab is looking almost complete. It is probably about 8:30 on Saturday. I'm gonna go in, get myself some supper, take a shower, clean up, relax, and yeah, unwind for the night, and then get back here tomorrow and do the same thing to the passenger side. So you guys, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching my videos. I hope you guys are enjoying them, and I really appreciate you guys tuning in. So until tomorrow, have a good one. Welcome back. It is a new day. It is Sunday morning, and just getting back into looking at my project. One thing I'm not very happy with is this little porthole quarter window here. I kind of want to make this side here spaced about as much as this is over here. You see how that's about a 4-inch gap over here, and this is like, I don't know, maybe 2. I kind of want to even that out, but I'm not sure, because I'm thinking the gap between the door frame and the window should match the gap between this window and like that little curvature of the body line there. Not quite sure what I want to do, so I've been moving it around a little bit, playing around. So I'm gonna keep going with that. When I'm gonna stop, and then I'm gonna get back to the passenger side and start cannibalizing that door to do the exact same thing on the other side of the cab. So stay tuned. Well, I didn't get as far as I wanted to today, but I did get, you know, a good chunk completed. Passenger side, after I did it, I'm just kind of realizing, apologize for the sun there. I was a little bit hasty on cutting out these little chunks to try to make this little corner window here. And obviously it just looks mangled up and over there. So I don't know, I might have to redo that. I got some extra chunks here from the window frame or the door. Can use that and rebuild that. Not quite sure what I'm gonna do. But what I should have done is welded in those little patch panels first, fill in the gap and then go. So on this side, got the door panel, or I'm sorry, the skin of the door panel as the filler panel in here. And underneath this, let me take this off and show you what happened here. If I can. Get this over here. Oh yeah. See that? That was a big dent right there that was filled in with Bondo. Probably, I don't even know how long ago. So that was from the door. That's the filler panel from the old door that I used. So you can see where it was like the backboard. So like right here along this door, there was a big dent. That's right there. So just found that out when I was putting it on. So what I'm going to do is that little patch panel, like you saw this guy, I ended up cutting that out and using that to help cover that dent. So yeah, that was fun. Fun finding that little dent, but all is well. Got lined up. Pretty much what I try to do is line up this outside edge of this cut off filler panel with the seam of the door channel. So when I do the cut and butt, it'll be all in that door channel seam. You won't have there won't be any seams anywhere inside here, just that one. And then over here, obviously there'll be this little seam here, but you know, I'm not too worried about that. I just want to make this one look really nice and clean. It's all the way down the whole door jamb. So hopefully that'll look good. And I'm not sure because the back of the cab kind of starts rounding off. It starts going round right about where that seam is. So I might trim in just a little bit so it's not so flat. So it gives it a little bit more room for contour. I'm not sure, but we'll figure that out. And then I use this line on both sides of the cab where I went off of this body line up 6 inches to figure out the gap between this body line and the window. So this matched on both sides. So that gap, that distance right here was the same on both sides of the cab. And if you can kind of tell, the back half of this door opening or the window opening kind of slants up and into the right. It's not perfectly straight up and down. It's not perpendicular to the door window. See, that's kind of got that little slant to it. So what I need to do is on this side, I'm gonna kind of mirror that and try to slant it in a little bit. So it's gonna be almost like a little teardrop shape, very similar to that. I'll see what I can do. But so tomorrow when I get back here, if I get back to it tomorrow, I'm gonna start doing the cut and butt. I gotta get made a big mistake and dropped my grinder and broke that sticker off it, or the button off it to turn it on. Try to figure that out. I'm like, screw it, I'm gonna get a new grinder tomorrow and get the thinner cutoff wheels. These are the 16th inch cutoff wheels. They have ones that are 3/64, so I'm gonna get the smaller ones and see if they work a little better for cutting in, so I can cut along the seam and then do the cut and butt welding. So see how that works. But yeah, that's my goal tomorrow. Get this panel in. All this other stuff where the window is, that'll come in after I get the rest of this stuff tack welded in at least up to about here. Because obviously I'm going to have to redo the roof. I have to put a whole new roof panel in here. I'm trying to figure that out, how I'm going to do that. It's a lot of little playing here and there, but so for now, driver's side and passenger side are fit. They're in a good location. These ones, again, I'm gonna have to redo all these panels around this window. I just kind of messed it up. But same here, same thing again. That seam is right along the door jamb. So when I do the cut and butt, hopefully you won't be able to see any seams at all, which is gonna be decent. But for now, I'm gonna have to call it a night. It's been a very long, stressful weekend. Had a lot of shit going on, so it's as far as I got. So there is my 1951 Ford F1, nicknamed Fiona, with an extended cab on it. Pretty awesome. I'm pretty happy with it, pretty stoked. So you guys, thanks again for watching, and stay tuned for my next video. Hopefully you'll start welding those panels in. So have a good one, guys. We'll catch you later. And today we are gonna finally tack in those filler panels for the extended cab area. As you can see, I have it clecoed on here pretty good. So it's kind of in position where I like it. That green tape I used to cut off a little bit, because I'm trying to keep this edge as close to that seam as possible. That way I don't have to worry about trying to fight a seam that's kind of inside the body, other than the back seam that's going to be in the back of the cab. But yeah, I just didn't want to have to fight with two seams and hammer and dolly and all that. Just clean that stuff up. So now today what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through, get my DA sander or whatever sander I have, take some 80 grit and run down the seams, both on the cab and on the panel, both sides, and start tacking them in. So kind of already did that over here. Give you an idea what I did. I cleaned off all the sand, I sanded off all the paint on this side. So on both the panel and on the cab of the truck, it's all been sanded except for this spot, because I'm cutting that out because this is a nasty dent. But all the way down the seam, it's all been sanded and cleaned off, got all the paint off there. So I got nice clean metal to weld to. Both sides. I'm only going to go up to where this cleco is on this, because right now that window frame is kind of floppy. Before I figure out, I might have to put the filler panel in for the roof before I start playing with getting this window. So I'm going to leave that loose to a point so I can still play with it. And then yeah, so that seam all the way down on the filler panel and the cab, it's all been sanded, cleaned off. So now I'm just going to take a rag and some acetone, whatever, and just wipe off the steel so it's all nice and clean. There's no dust and anything, debris on it. And then calico it in all the way down on both sides, and kind of just tack weld starting at this body line, because that's the body line that's important to me. I want to keep that body line where it's at, and just, like I said, tack, tack, tack. And I don't know if you guys watch any other YouTube channels, which I'm sure you guys do. There's this amazing fabricator, welder guy named Fitzy from Fitzy's Fabrication that does great demonstrations and walkthroughs, and he gives great ideas on how to weld and how to get these like panels welded together. Awesome to watch. So if you're looking for any kind of tips and tricks on how to weld and how to do some fabrication work, definitely check out Fitzy's Fabrication. Highly recommend it. So his idea is to, before we even try to do like a butt weld, to tack weld this panel to the cab all the way down, and then start cutting off through the base metal on that seam with a cutoff wheel, cut off a few of those tack welds down about 6 inches, push this panel in to match flush with the base metal, get that flush, and just tack back in where those tacks were. And then just do that every couple inches, like 6-8 inches. Just cut off a couple tack welds, cut all the way through the base metal, push the panel in to line up, make it even, and just do that all the way down. That way you're not like trying to chase any kind of like distortion or warpage of the metal when you start welding it. So that's what I'm gonna do now. I'm gonna just get my welder going and tack weld this one into place, and we'll see how that goes. So stay tuned. Did you blink? Because you might have missed it. I'm so fast, I already tack welded this thing on. Obviously through the magic of editing, I was able to stop it and get this going. So you can see I tack welded all the way down this seam, all the way down to the bottom, or the door, the bottom floor, whatever. Same thing on the back side, tack welded in place all the way up until about there. That's the last one. I wanted to keep this part here flexible, because still trying to figure out what I'm gonna do for that filler panel on the roof there to make the roof one solid piece. So I didn't want to get that in there too set in place. So now it's time to do the good old Fitzy's Fab cut and butt. I might end up cutting into here and then down the seam, so that way when I do start doing the cut and butt, I can just push this panel in, and it'll actually push the base metal in, so I'm not trying to fight this corner here. So if I cut down, it'll push in pretty good. But yeah, I'm gonna tack weld this stuff in, because even though I'm gonna cut this out later, I just wanna make sure it's in place and it holds that body line. So having this piece here weld it on, make it easier for later on down the road, I believe. I'm trying not to get too anxious and too ahead of myself, which I have done in the past and caused me to redo a little bit of work. So right now it's gonna do the slow cut and butt, and we'll see how that goes. So stay tuned. So first edge of the cut and butt done. I had a little bit of an issue here when I was cutting it, but you can see I did a couple more tack welds to get it to be a little bit more held on. But yeah, that's all been done. And here's what I cut out. So this piece been like right here behind there. And when I was tack welding and cutting, doing the cut and butt, I was pulling this away, trying to get this. So I had a few times where it got caught. You can see here where it was still caught to the metal out of the filler panel. So I had to like kind of either get a grinder and kind of grind the weld off on the top here, or get behind it and try to get a little chisel in there to pull it off. So that's done. So that front side edge is good. I just got to do some tack welding, fill that all the way in. Obviously got a bit of gaps up here. I got to clean up a little bit. But again, this corner's getting cut out, no big deal. So the back edge, I was kind of thinking it's gonna be a lot harder to do, well, to do that little cut and butt and get this little strip out, because that little strip was easy, because that was just this little strip here. But on the inside behind here, you can see on the other side, that's where that little rib is, that guy right there. So that's actually giving them more stability, more strength to the side. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. I'm gonna have to take a little break and figure out what I'm gonna do, because if I start cutting along the seam and all of a sudden I got this whole big, you know, that guy, that thing on the inside, take out. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna end up cutting, or not cutting, but right there's spot welds holding those little back ribs on. Spot weld there, spot weld there. So at least I can keep the ribs on the back panel. But yeah, because obviously when it gets down to the bottom, you got that guy right there. So that is part of the bottom corner too. So I'm trying to figure out, gotta get behind that when I'm cutting and butting. So yeah, I'm kind of at a little bit of a crossroads now. I'm gonna take a minute to breather, get a little snack, and then try to figure out what I'm gonna do with this back edge. So stay tuned. All right, so I decided to wait on doing the cut and butt on the back of the passenger side, and I just decided to tack weld in the driver's side. So the driver's side has been tack welded in place, only halfway up on the back side again to keep that top window frame loose. And yeah, so now the next step is to start doing the cut and butt on this seam all the way down the door jamb. So that's my next step. Might not happen until tomorrow, but that's where I am. Things are moving along pretty quick. It's starting to look like a really nice extended cab pickup truck. So for now, I'm gonna have to get taking a shower, get some supper, and getting ready for my day job tomorrow morning. So you guys, thanks again for watching. I really appreciate it. Leave any questions or comments that you have down below, and we will see you guys next week. Another glorious day working on Fiona. This evening, today, I decided to finish up the door jamb side of this little weld thing. So as you can see, I did all my tack welds along that seam. So that is all tack welded together. So I'm gonna get the grinder out, clean all that up. Again, I don't know why I covered all this stuff, because this is all gonna get cut out anyway, so I don't know why I just decided to tack weld. So that's why I stopped, kind of almost all the way done. I decided to stop. I'm like, why am I doing that? But anyways, so yeah, I gotta go through with the grinder, grind off those welds, clean it up a little bit, and then I will probably go back and do the driver's side. I haven't done the cut and butt on that yet, so I'll probably finish that one up. But yeah, the backside edge, I'm still debating on what I'm gonna do. I'm really not quite 100% sure how I'm going to go about that. But other than that, I'm going to go in here, and like I said, that rib that goes across the back here, like it's tack welded inside the door frame there. So I'm going to drill out those tack welds, or sorry, spot welds on that one. And then up here, it's kind of hard to see, but I cut the rib off. It's like right where the window would be. So I got to drill out those spot welds so I can get that little chunk out of there. And then up here, same thing. There was another rib that went up above there. So that's gonna have to get those spot welds cut off and take that off, and then maybe start working on the roof, I'm not sure. But what I was thinking is I wanna kinda keep this as much original steel as possible. So instead of using those new sheet metal pieces, cut the rest of those door panels off and use those panels to try to fill in up here, like how that little piece I got in there, trying to fill in like that, kind of keep that contour, keep that going. So this is just sitting here, but that's that was from the back of the cab. I'm gonna kind of use something like that, kind of keep that contour going, keeping the old steel. Kind of makes it look good, but yeah, I don't know, I'll have to figure something out. Might have to see if I know somebody with an English wheel that can help me roll some steel and get that contours right. But for now, I'm gonna go grind off the welds on the passenger side and then come back and do the cut and butt right here. So guys, stay tuned. Okie dokie, let's see where we're at. Over on the passenger side, all those tack welds in the door jamb, look at that, they're all ground off. Pretty good. Still got a little bit of body work to do, and it is really wavy, unfortunately. You can see it's gonna woo, and wavy right there. So there's gonna be a little bit of body work, but it's welded on, it's cleaned off. Probably gonna throw some primer on it and on this bare metal too, because I'm still not 100% sure what I'm gonna do on that back edge. It's kind of throwing me for a loop. So then I moved over here to the driver's side and I did the old Fit 2 Fab cut and butt. Did all that. Here is the piece I cut out. That was right here. Ba-bang. Did slowly cut like 3 or 4 welds on the side. Push this in to line up flush there. Tack, tack. Again, cut down about 3 or 4 welds. Push this in so it was flush. Tack, tack, tack all the way down. So yeah, this side's all tacked in. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do some filling tack, so keep filling in till this side is all tacked up, and I'll probably call it a night after that. So hang out and stay tuned. And in the blink of an eye, seam is completely tack welded. Nice job. Liking it? Getting better at my welding. If you see, these tacks are, there's a few spots got a little bit hot and melted through, but for the most part, I'm pretty impressed with that. So now, next time, or next step, is to grind those flush and see how we go. But it's getting late. It's about, I always say it's about 8:30. It's about 8:30, 9 o'clock on, today's Wednesday. So I'm gonna probably call it a night. End this video and probably end this series right here. So I hope you guys liked what I was doing. I hope you guys are following along, and this is a fun project for me. Obviously something new. I've never done this before, so I'm learning as I go. And if you guys are learning something with me, go ahead and comment. I appreciate that. So anyhow, I'm gonna go eat, take a shower, and call it a night. You guys have a great time. And again, thanks for watching, and tune in for my next video. Have a good one. All right, so I lied. I still had a few more minutes to play around, and I ended up grinding off this edge. So as you can see, nice and ground off. Everything looks really nice and smooth. This side turned out a lot better than the passenger side. Not really, it's not wavy really. It's pretty straight, or follows the curve of the body very well. So that is done. Front edge of both passenger and driver side are welded on. So now, as you see that little panel up there, I'm thinking I gotta figure out the roof before I can move on to the window. So once I get the roof, one of my biggest concerns is this. As you can see, right here, it kind of starts curving in. So it's kind of this spot right here in the cab where it starts to curve around for the back. So when I cut that off, I gotta figure out how to push this out a bit. So like when this is sticking out, it should be almost flush with the door like that. So I need to figure out how to clear that, bend that out, or fill that in somehow. So I got a few things to work out, but for now, the extended cab filler panels are welded in place. They're not going anywhere. So work on the roof, and then maybe I'll work on the floor in here. I gotta put a new floor panel in here, fill in something, make that little hump around the exhaust and the gas tank and frame, and yeah, we'll see how that goes. So anyways, for now, I'm done. This is it for this week. I'm gonna end this video. Again, thanks guys for watching, and we will catch you next time.